So, Allison Conway goes to prep school now.
Mr. Bedford is a generous fellow.
Probably helps that Allison gave birth to his grandson.
Here's one case where being a teenage mother moves you up the social scale.
Detective Briscoe, Detective Curtis.
Nice to see you, too.
I guess this is about Tagg Vanderhook?
News travels fast.
We'd like to ask you a few questions.
You know, there's another murder that's still unsolved.
Right. We're investigating whether there might be a connection.
Right, Alibi, Tagg, Franklin, Brendan. Let's talk about Tagg for a minute.
Did you know the victim?
Tagg? Sure. I mean, a little. This is a small school. It's hard not to know everybody a little. And Tagg wasn't the type to blend into the woodwork.
How long have you known him?
Since September, I guess.
Does this fit in with, yeah, because the show just started. So Tagg has started New Amsterdam in September. Testified that Alison and Tagg met during orientation. They were a cross-country team together. Said Alison transferred to New Amsterdam Prep. Yeah. She's just started there, so good job.
What do you think of him?
Everyone kowtowed to Tagg because of his mom's money. He liked to brag about his conquests in class, and the teachers were too spineless to shut him up. I kept my distance.
So you weren't one of his conquests?
God, no. As if.
There's a bit of a resentment there. Let's go to the alibi.
Where were you at 6 o'clock this morning?
6 o'clock? I was at home.
Home is still in Brooklyn?
No, I live with the Bedfords now, ever since Brendan was born. I thought you knew that.
Memory's the first thing to go.
Can anyone confirm your whereabouts?
Sure, the whole household was up at 6. Brendan was throwing one of his famous tantrums. He's got a scream that could shatter glass.
Well, we'll take that because we can always check it up. Known to be truthful, saves time, can be corroborated. Yes. Good job.
I tried to sneak canned baby food onto his plate and he caught on. So I have to go down to the kitchen and mix him up a fresh batch in the blender.
Kid's got discriminating tastes.
He's a Bedford.
Let's talk about Brendan.
How old's the little guy now?
6 months. You should see him. So full of energy. He rolled over for the first time last week.
That's great.
Hate to be a killjoy, but shouldn't we get back to the subject at hand?
Was that the red herring? Well, I find it eases the tension and they tend to let a little more out.
Franklin Bedford's supposed to be in gym right now, but we didn't see him on the basketball court.
He's off with the golf team at the Chelsea Piers driving range. They've got a big tournament coming up and the coach has them all practicing their swings. What? Check with Mr. Tate if you don't believe me.
Significant. Said the golf season was over. Golf team code entered onto the weight rooms. Yeah, the weight room, I think. Yes. Good job.
Golf on a day like this. It's been pouring all morning.
The driving range is covered now.
Must have happened after they revoked your membership.
Right, let's talk about the medal.
Something peculiar about this murder.
Tagg had a medal shoved in his mouth. Harrison's medal, right?
How do these things get out?
It's a high school detective. So, who
Yeah,
do you
but
think
if I
put it
just
in
left
there?
the office-
Harrison's ghost?
Would he have reason to? Did he have something against Tagg?
When me and Harrison were together, we didn't waste time talking about Tagg Vanderhook, okay? But he did stick up for me once when Tagg was a real ass.
Okay. Right.
I thought you first met Tagg this past September.
Yeah. Not counting that house party last spring.
Tell us about that house party.
Harrison wanted to introduce me to his prep school friends. Tagg wasn't invited, but he showed up anyway. About midnight. He got in my face and called me Harrison's little Brooklyn bitch. Harrison got him in a headlock and made him apologize. Totally humiliated him. It was awesome.
And that was the end of it? Tagg ran off with his tail between his legs?
I don't really remember how it ended, to be honest. I was pretty wasted at the time. I passed out not too long afterwards.
Right. Where's Franklin's
You live in the
alibi?
same house as Franklin. Was he there at 6?
Sure, I assume.
You didn't
You
see him.
assume?
No, I mean, he would have still been asleep at that hour.
I- no, she said everybody saw her. Alison testified her screaming baby had everybody up at 6. Yes.
You told us nobody could sleep on account of your baby.
Nobody except Franklin, I meant. That kid could sleep through anything.
Did you actually see Franklin this morning?
No.
Right. Motive for
Tagg
killing
insults you.
Tagg.
Harrison attacks Tagg. And later, Harrison is dead. I guess people must have pointed fingers.
At Tagg? Like I said, I hardly knew him. When you guys ruled him out as a suspect, I never gave him another thought.
Huh?
What about the people who did know him?
I guess a lot of the kids around here kept on thinking he might have been involved.
Yeah, I think you did
Did
as well.
Tagg do anything to dispel their suspicions?
Tagg was a bully. I think he liked having people think he was a killer, especially the younger kids.
Kids like Franklin.
Thanks, Allison. We'll be in touch.
Increase your detective rank.
You think our boy Franklin is the killer?
Pieces seem to fit.
So, if he entered the golf team code to get back into the weight room after the murder, who entered the first code?
The mystery code? Well, could have been Tagg himself. His weight room privileges were revoked when he got kicked off the wrestling team, but his mom said he was good at getting around the rules.
So then Tagg let Franklin in.
Not realizing the kid had a gun and meant business.
It's a good theory. Not enough evidence for an arrest.
Not yet. Come on, let's find some.
Can't you just talk to him when he gets back from the driving range?
We intend to do that, but in the meantime, we need to take a look in his locker.
Oh, you can't do that without a warrant.
No, but you can. New Jersey versus TLO. Back in '85, Supreme Court decided school administrators have the right to search lockers, provided they have just cause for suspicion.
You've done your homework, Detective. I'm impressed. Still, I don't know. Franklin Bedford's always been a well-behaved student.
Let's see.
We think Franklin blamed Tagg for his brother's death.
Oh, dear. I'm not unaware of the rumors that have been circulating around the school.
Revenge is a powerful motivator, Mrs. Boersma.
I suppose I should open that locker for you. Here it is,
Aha.
number 224. What exactly are you expecting to find?
We'll know it when we see it. Bingo.
Uh-oh.
See you at lunch, Tyler.
Franklin Bedford, where were you this morning at 6?
Why? What's this about?
Little matter of a murder weapon we found in your locker. Care to explain? Book him.
You are under arrest for the murder of Tagg Vanderhook. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to a lawyer.
27th Precinct interrogation room.
No confession yet?
Not a word. They must teach counter-interrogation at that fancy prep school.
Time to turn up the pressure.
Good cop, bad cop?
Mm-hmm. He's only 15. He's not too old to cry. You get him there, then I'll turn on the compassion and bring him home.
Isn't he supposed to have
I'm
an
sick
adult
of waiting for
with
a
him?
confession
He's
from this
15.
punk. We got the weapon, we got the motive. At this point, he's just wasting our time.
Go easy, detective. Come on, Franklin. Come clean. It'll be a lot easier for everybody if you do.
Isn't he supposed
My
to have...
client maintains he's
Yeah.
innocent.
Give me a break.
Right. Let's do the weapon.
Where's a little kid like you get a hold of a Walther P-22? Daddy give it to you for first communion?
My client has
he's
no
not
idea how
saying
that
nothing.
weapon got into his locker.
For Christ's sakes.
He's not saying nothing. Good. Uh-oh. Put him off his guard, then hammer him. Alternate aggression with compassion. Breaking through enhanced interrogation techniques. Get him to the breaking point, then bring him home. Go.
You hated Tagg, didn't you? Of course you did. Harrison didn't like him a bit, and you wanted to be just like Harrison.
Don't talk about my brother.
Franklin, it's okay.
Ouch. Bad cop.
Sure, Harrison was your hero. Great athlete, big man on campus, the perfect older brother. But the hero died, and his enemy went on living. It must have burned you up every time you saw Tagg's smirking face in the hall. Knowing how he got away with murder.
Shut up. Shut up! You don't know what really happened.
Don't take the bait.
Nearly getting there. Look. Another bad
Everybody
cop.
knew Tagg killed your brother, but nobody could touch him. There he was, walking around free, laughing about Harrison, telling everybody what a loser Harrison was.
Lies. It was all lies! He was a damn liar, and so are you. He deserved it. He deserved what he got.
Franklin, watch yourself.
Uh-oh. He's cracking. Now let's go to the good cop.
Sure, you had every right to be outraged. And you had access to a gun?
My dad's safe. I found the combination.
So you stashed it in your locker, and when the opportunity presented itself...
But I didn't. I wanted to. I admit it. I brought the gun to school, but then everybody started whispering, and I couldn't go through with it. I wasn't the one who shot Tagg, I swear.
Then who did?
I don't know.
Close enough to a confession for me.
It looks like he supplied the weapon unknowingly, but take the gun into school. Arraignment of Franklin Bedford.
Docket number 4258677. People versus Franklin Bedford. Felony murder in the first degree.
How does your client plead, Mr. Vance?
Innocent, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the people request bail in the amount of $500,000.
That's excessive. My client is a juvenile.
So was the victim. Franklin Bedford shot him in cold blood and then returned to desecrate the body. Under the circumstances, $500,000 is warranted.
Last year, I had a young man disappear to Europe after making bail on a drunk driving charge. I'd like to see Franklin stick around. $500,000.
Fine. I'll cut you a check. You bastards aren't gonna take him from me.
Mr. Bedford.
Ha! This is... You can't find Harrison's killer, and now you want to haul Franklin off on trumped-up charges. Well, we're gonna beat you. Don't you worry, son. We're gonna win this thing.
Mr.
It's
Bedford,
in the
you are
bag.
out of order.
The gun must be ruled
Thing is a bit
inadmissible.
peeved off.
The gun is the critical piece of evidence in the case, Your Honor.
Illegal search and seizure. It was obtained
It was
without a warrant.
not illegal.
The police were within their rights.
It was not illegal. They were within their rights. How so? School administrator. Don't know. Yes. Excellent.
New Jersey versus TLO established that school administrators can search students' lockers given reasonable cause for suspicion. The
Yep.
circumstances of the crime naturally threw suspicion on the accused.
And the locker was in fact opened by an administrator.
By the headmistress, yes.
Then I'm dismissing the motion to suppress.
Yes. Trial part 16.
Mr. Bedford, is your son capable of murder?
Of course not.
What?
Why, Franklin helped to organize the Youth Anti-Violence March in the park last fall.
Would you like to object? I certainly would.
Objection.
How can you, assuming facts not in evidence, or mislead the jury? No.
Assuming facts not in evidence.
Objection overruled.
Tagg Vanderhook was shot at 6 a.m. May 6.
At which time Franklin was home.
You can swear to this?
With pleasure. Now, let's be honest. This trial is a farce. My son has been targeted because he's a Bedford. Certain factions in this city want to see us cut down to size.
Would you like to object?
Objection.
He's going for the sympathy. Speculation.
The defendant is speculating about the people's motives. We intend to prove this case on the evidence.
Objection sustained. You're not doing yourself any favors, Mr. Bedford.
Tell us about your interactions with your son on the morning of the 6th.
I woke up about a quarter after 5 to the sound of his golf swing. And that happens every morning in season. He likes to practice in the yard at sunrise. We had breakfast together half an hour later, as usual, and after that I dropped him off at school.
You drove him personally?
Yes, as a matter of fact. Usually he rides with Allison, but she took the bus that day.
Your witness, Mr. McCoy.
But he wasn't seen at 6 when the baby was
Mr.
crying.
Bedford, are you aware that perjury is a federal offense?
I stand by my testimony.
All of it?
Breakfast.
You two had breakfast together.
As we do every morning.
Allison Conway said she never saw Franklin that morning.
Well, of course she wouldn't. As a rule, Allison stays in her room with the baby till it's time for her to go to school.
What? No, she wasn't. How's she going to feed the baby and clean the baby if she's got to stay in her room? Get the baby food. It's ridiculous.
Allison told us she had been down to the kitchen that morning.
What can I say? The two of them just missed each other.
Oh, right. Let's do the drive to school.
You personally drove Franklin to school?
In the Mercedes, yes. Allison was delayed by the baby that morning, as I recall, so she had to catch a bus.
So why didn't he hang around and drive her too? I think he's lying. Headmistress testified she saw Allison's car in the parking lot. Franklin said he took the bus to school. Went straight to the Chelsea Piers driving range. Mr. Bedford previously said he doesn't drive. Oh, crumbs. I don't... has she got a car? Franklin said he took the bus. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, she took a car to work.
Mrs. Boersma, the headmistress, told us that Allison drove the Mercedes to school that morning.
She was mistaken.
Oh, right. Something's
You
going
testified
on.
that Franklin's golf practice woke you up.
Yes, he's very committed to improving his drive.
He
I fully
wakes up
support him in
every
his
morning,
ambition,
then?
but unfortunately the backyard borders my bedroom.
Is it plausible that Franklin's golf practice woke him up? Yes. Oh, how did I miss that then?
The murder weapon was found in Franklin's locker. Perhaps you can tell the court where it came from.
I have no idea where it came from. Well, it was obviously planted there by the murderer.
What? Can we connect Mr. Bedford with the murder weapon? Well, he said it came from his dad's safe. Confessed to buying the gun, take it from his father's safe. Is it? Excellent.
Mr. Bedford, Franklin has already confessed to taking that gun from your safe.
Yes, well, all right, but not to pulling the trigger. I'm telling you, he was framed. Franklin was framed.
Right.
What's
Something's
that?
going on.
Your Honor, my client has some information to impart privately.
Are you requesting a recess?
I think I'm requesting a continuance.
What? Right, we're ahead by... Oh, right. East Side Family Practice.
Yes, Franklin Bedford was here that morning. He signed in at 5:48, and the nurse processed his paperwork at 6:40.
Oh. Yeah, he was in there at the time of the killing. Right, so if it's true, what does it prove? Someone besides Franklin entered the mystery code. Someone besides Franklin shot Tagg. Someone besides Franklin entered the golf's team code. So all of the above, because he just wasn't there. Wow.
Are you sure it was May 5th? This is very important, Dr. Markovich.
So why didn't his
Quite
father
sure.
say
Tissue
that
samples
already
arrived
at
at
the
the
beginning?
DNA lab at 10 a.m. on the same day. Results haven't come back yet.
DNA lab. Can you tell me the nature of the tests?
Franklin hasn't said?
No.
Then I'm afraid I have to invoke doctor-patient privilege.
Oh, damn it. I'm trying to work out if it's his son or something.
Okay, out with it.
Huh?
You were willing to risk going to jail rather than admit you were at the clinic on the morning of the murder.
So? The alibi checked out. As far as you're concerned, that's where the matter ends.
The matter ends
Has
when
he
my
got an illness
curiosity is
that's hereditary
satisfied.
then? Or they're testing for it?
Why did you visit the clinic on May 5th?
They think I might have AIDS.
What? Well, he wouldn't lie about it. No.
Nice try. Your tissues were sent to a DNA lab. They don't test for AIDS by analyzing your DNA.
All right, it's not AIDS. It's a genetic disease. I don't remember what it's called.
If it's a genetic disease, then your dad's at risk. Let's call him right now.
Wait. I went in for a paternity test. I brought them a tissue sample from Allison's baby to find out if Harrison's really the father.
If not Harrison, then who?
Tagg.
Wow. Why did you hide the truth?
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I wanted to protect Allison. She doesn't know about it.
She doesn't know. What do you mean she doesn't know?
I can't explain.
She doesn't know he's making the test. Ah, how can I miss that one?
Tagg?
I ran into him the Sunday before he died, when I was out pushing Brendan in his stroller. He started talking smack, acted like he was gonna mess with the baby. I told him to get back, and he was like, doesn't a father have rights anymore?
That's it.
Well, you know, it made me start to wonder.
Let me get this straight. Based on one smart-ass comment from Tagg, you made arrangements to get a paternity test, then risked a murder conviction to keep it a secret? You took him that seriously?
Yeah, I took him seriously. Tagg wasn't the kind of guy to tell lies for no reason.
Nope. He was always stirring it up. Had good reason to lie. He hated Franklin. He was a habitual liar. Franklin hadn't met Tagg until that moment. He'd already conclusive proof to the contrary. He was a habitual liar. Excellent.
You told Detective Briscoe and Curtis that Tagg told nothing but lies.
Yeah, but...
And you've been telling nothing but lies in this interview. Is the paternity test a lie as well?
No, look, I didn't believe Tagg at first. Like you said, the dude was a liar, and I knew Allison couldn't stand him. But he kept needling me about it, telling me that Harrison knew all about him and Allison, and then, a couple days later, this came in the mail.
Enjoy the show.
Where did he
Everybody
pull
else
that?
has.
He's got big
I haven't seen
pockets.
my share of the box office, but that's about to change. Tagg.
Don't say anything to my dad, okay? He might take it bad, and Allison, she's part of the family now, her and Brendan. I just don't want to be the one who spoils it.